Hi everybody, I'm Jay with jrwelding.net, and that is my modest photography website, tied in very closely with YouTube here. Today I just wanted to kind of recap a couple items that I've been using for quite some time now, and they are tried and true tools of my trade in photography and videography. So the first one, and I'm wearing the lavalier mic right here, the lav mic, which is wireless, and this is the PicoStream Picogear wireless mic system. There's dual channel built into it, so you can have two feeds going into your camera, and when they're in dock, and they're magnetic when they're in dock, they turn off. So I usually just only use one on my talent. That is the color display, and you can set these channels independently of each other, but it gives you a good peaking range all in color. And honestly, I think this is one of the nicest wireless mic sets that are on the market right now. They are coming out with a version 2 here shortly. You can see the redesign on their website. Honestly, the Picogear stuff was very difficult to get my hands on, and as many people who have tried to buy this device, demand always overrode supply. So it was, as soon as they were available on the site, they were purchased, and within a week they were back ordered again. So, which was the case when I bought this. I waited probably about a month to see it come up as available on the website, checking every day, and hit my order, and then the next day it was all back ordered again. But not mine. Mine came. There's some downsides to it that I will point out. The magnets in the microphones and the docking station could be a little stronger. They certainly hold the mic in place, but if you're moving around, you might want to disable the second mic if you're not using it, and put it in a bag so that it doesn't bounce out of the cradle and then disappear on you. Not a cheap bit of kit. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it certainly was not cheap. But I definitely like the mic system. It's a very small lav mic on the talent, and just really does a good recording if you set your camera right. I'm shooting on a Sony FX3 right now with a very small wide-angle lens in my office. It's I was going to go shoot, but it's a very cloudy day out. Okay, so the downside on that is the magnets for sure, and availability if you are trying to pick it up. The other thing that I use on a regular basis is this 7-inch Feelworld ultra bright monitor, and this is the HDMI only model that I picked up, and it is very bright. That's set at 6 out of the settings, so when you're indoors, you're not blinding everything with the screen display. It has peaking, general menu functionality, that sort of thing. It is a plastic case, and the menu is horrible on it, but and it'll eat batteries alive. So I went ahead and bought these heavy, high capacity MPF batteries, I believe they're called, Sony's. But if you're outside and you're an old man like me, 7-inch monitor with the brightness that this ultra bright gives you in 4K is phenomenal. I mean, it's really night and day over the FX3 display. So wanted to recap those. Then I also have, for in the studio here, a Lumpad 22H, and this is made by Nanyang. Again, plastic. Oh, let's go back to the build quality on this Feelworld real quick. If you don't beat it up, it's probably a very good value for the dollar that you spend on it for being an ultra bright. And but it is plastic, so for what I do, where I'm shooting, I'm not climbing mountains, I'm not doing that sort of thing. I don't beat it up. It does a very good job for me. So the quality build on it is not rugged, but if you're doing normal shooting around town, that sort of thing with it, it's a good quality monitor. And okay, let's get back to the Nanyang Lumpad 22H. This has a rocker switch. It's bicolor, so you can change it from a yellowish light to a pure white and turn it up and down, and that's pretty bright light. And it was a value. It was on sale from B&H, and even with the smaller batteries, this light does not eat up a lot of G's. So when you need some extra light, the value of that Lumpad 22H is pretty good. Bill of quality, again, plastic, but it does give you a battery indicator here. And all in all, if you're not a professional studio where you need the big, huge lights with everything, that's a pretty cool little thing. It also had some kind of a shade. I've lost that in translation somewhere along the line. But, here's with the side of the Pico which is really a premium product, in my opinion, the Feelworld and this Lumpad, for the prices that you pay for them, very inexpensive. And when you're talking about videography and photography, it is most certainly an expensive hobby and a more expensive business when you start talking about wanting to do high quality video work and photographic work. Lenses, a cheap lens is $1,000. The FX3 was what, $3,000. This was probably $450, $450, not cheap. $200, right around there for the Feelworld. I think I spent $89 for the LED lighting kit. Batteries, batteries at the yin yang. You're spending a lot of money, and which brings me to what is relevant when you get to the point where you actually think you know what you're doing in video work and photography. So I have a GoPro Hero 8. I have an Insta360 1X over here. I have a Insta360 Pro down over here, which is getting a little long in the tooth, but it still does 8K video and high resolution photography in 360 and 360 3D. So now I have the FX3. I shoot stills with an A7 III, which everybody's starting to post videos on YouTube now about whether the A7 III is still a viable camera in 2021. Well, I say this is one badass camera. I take moonshots regularly. There's one up on my screen over here, and with a 400 millimeter Sigma lens. I do a lot of nature photography, that sort of thing, and I primarily shoot with the FX3 for video work now that I've gotten that. And that's another badass camera. They're kind of slamming it because the A7S III and the FX3 are, the same internals, the same sensor, same optics, that sort of thing in camera. But that on a Ronin RS2, DJI Ronin RS2 is a great camera, a great fit, and very lightweight rig in general. What should I keep in 2021 going into 2022? Should I sell my Mac Pro trash can that's back behind here and just keep my MacBook Pro. Should I sell my 3D stuff, which I purchased originally to do architectural 360s, but that really went nowhere. So I just don't have the leads for that kind of work right now. I'd love to keep it. I think more than likely it's going to be a relative kit for the next 2 years at least. Doesn't break, takes great shots, and good audio in it, good video in it, that sort of thing. So the optics are definitely pretty cool in those cameras. It's a big round ball. Do I use the GoPro Hero 8? Not as much as I thought I was going to, but for the cost of it, to list it for sale probably isn't worth even taking it off the shelf to do that and package it. The 361X, you know, I don't really use that too much anymore either. It's a camera that in theory is pretty cool. 2-lens 360 camera. And it wasn't, you know, it was one of my first purchases on cameras that were had obscure skill sets, I guess is the best way of putting it. And I took some pictures of it, of the business I work for, their showrooms, and I thought, you know what, this is really, really cool, but there's got to be a way to get better image quality. It really didn't do the kind of image quality I expected it to do from watching YouTube videos, and that's why I bought the Pro. The Pro blows it away, of course, with 6 cameras, I believe there are in that camera, 6 lenses, and you know, I always have to try and take it to the next level, but 8K on that camera is pretty slick, I'll tell you. Okay, well, that's just a recap. The last thing I want to talk about is my foray into Steadicam. So I bought a Steadicam Solo monopod, and I rigged it up to hook up to my Steadicam rig and glide gear rig, vest and arm. And I can't keep everything in the right place on those things. The rigging on it is tough at best, right? So I'm going to revisit it because it really does. When you have that Ronin RS2 on top of a Steadicam rig that's, you know, dampering all the axes of motion, that thing just glides. I mean, it really does. It's phenomenal. And I would really like to get into using that at some point in time with talent in front of me, you know, going that route. But we will see. It's a work in progress. I've got to become a better rigger. And again, all these little bits and pieces for cameras, they're not cheap, you know. I picked up 2 of these arms, and they're clamp arms with, you know, basically that, and you can clamp it onto your pole and it'll hold something in place. Well, yeah, you clamp this on the Solo glide gear stuff and put a 7-inch monitor like this right here on it, and you're moving around, and then all of a sudden this slips. That whole rig just goes out of balance in a heartbeat. So I've got to become a better rigger, and I've got to get, these are nice or okay, but I think I need something that will keep everything in place a little better than what I'm trying to do. And then I'll start using the Steadicam vest again. That's all I have. That's kind of my recap for August. I did some corporate video work at our Delaware State Fair. Photographs and video, very little video, but that's on Burke Equipment's YouTube channel if you want to see the fair stuff. We did some video with antique tractors and just a couple welcome to the Delaware State Fair type of videos. kind of low key this year. We just didn't have the availability of people to be in front of the camera, I think. But that's on BurkeEquipment.com or Burke Equipment's YouTube channel. Look it up. And I think that's about what I have as a wrap for August. July was just so busy, I really didn't get to do a lot of stuff. And look for more content. I've been looking at telescopes, and I don't know if I can float that with my better half. You know, that's a whole different discipline. We'll see. I don't know. I think I'm getting pretty good lunar shots, moon shots with my A7 III and the 400 millimeter Sigma, because with Sony's active zoom or steady zoom, I can't remember what they actually call it, I can actually digitally zoom that 400 lens up to 800 millimeter and get some pretty good detail without losing a lot of resolution. ISO and your f-stop has a lot to do with that, of course, and if I can, you know, dial that in regularly with the changing brightness of the moon, I get some pretty darn good shots, I'll tell you. And I want to say that all of this kit, everything that I review on the channel, everything that you see me shoot with, all out of my pocket. I primarily buy from B&H Photography out of New York City. Shipping is great, very, very fast. Their provisioning of the material that you buy to get it out the door for you is like next day normally. Great group of people to work with when you call in and ask questions. They really do their best to answer them and steer you in the right direction. I have tripods. I have pretty much every camera you see here was purchased from B&H with the exception of my Insta360 Pro, which I got a great deal on eBay. So from another, by the way, failed 360 producer, guy that was trying to build a company doing 360. So it was kind of like a fire sale. He wanted to get out of it as quickly as possible. Anyway, thanks for stopping again, and please hit the like button. I'm Jay. Take care.